Alright, I'm back with another video, and in this video, I'm going to be going over another opening trap, and this is called the Siberian trap, and it arises out of the Smith-Morra Sicilian. So the Smith-Morra Gambit for white. So after e4, c5, we have a Sicilian, and after d4, we have the Smith-Morra Gambit, where white is offering up a pawn after pawn to c3. For open lines and rapid development. So after d takes c3, knight takes c3, black would simply be up a pawn, but white is aiming for rapid development. So we're going to be looking at the line where black often takes on c3 and gains a pawn. I generally like playing knight f6 there and playing it like an elapid Sicilian, but d takes c3, and after knight takes c3, knight to c6 is the move of choice. Knight to f3 is played, and after pawn to e6, you're aiming to bring this bishop out at some point, and also this is a good pawn structure to have since he has a light square bishop that wants to go to c4, but now if it goes to c4, it won't really be as impactful targeting f7, which is a weak point. So bishop to c4 is played, and queen to c7 is played. So note that knight b5 is possible here, but I wouldn't panic about that at all. So if white castles, black goes knight to f6 and targets this pawn on e4, puts some pressure on this pawn. If e5 is played, it is not possible yet because of knight takes e5. The best move here is probably to go knight to b5 for white, whereupon black can simply tuck the queen away on b8 and look to play a6 and kick that knight. And that's probably the best way for white to play it. However, if white plays queen to e2, looking to strengthen this e pawn and play pawn to e5, black has a very strong move here, which is knight to g4. So not only is it activating this knight, applying more pressure to this h2 pawn, but it's also getting out of the way of an e5 pawn push, and it's also preparing to potentially jump to e5. So knight g4 is a very strong move here, and now black is slightly better, and white has to be careful. If white falls for, if white plays a simple move on the next move, he will be in some serious trouble. So generally, when the knight jumps to a square like this, it is extremely natural to play a move like h3 and just say, okay, I'm kicking your knight, I'm attacking your knight. You're just going to have to move your knight back to one of these squares, and then I'll be doing quite fine. It really won't be so bad. I can just keep developing my pieces. All is well. However, it's not so simple in this position because black has a very strong tactical idea, which is knight to d4. So the whole point of this is removing the guard. So you're forking this knight on f3 and this queen on e2. So if you play h takes g4, I'm going to take your queen. And if you move your queen to, say, d3, I'm simply going to play knight takes f3. And after either queen takes f3 or g takes f3, queen to h2 is going to be mate. If king h1, queen h2 is also mate. And finally, if knight takes g4, there's simply queen h2. So after knight to d4 here, black would be winning, and this is known as the Siberian trap. So if white wants to play really aggressively with the Smith-Morra Gambit, this trap is possible, and if he doesn't really know what he's doing, it's very, very possible to fall for this. But even in a broader view, I would say that this tactical idea is something that you need to familiarize yourself with. This idea of removing the guard. So knowing that this move comes with tempo because you're hitting the queen, and knowing that it's essentially just a fork, because you can't retake this knight because you get mated, and you can't take this knight because you lose your queen. So this would be the Siberian trap out of the Sicilian defense Smith-Morra Gambit, and I think it's important for both sides to know how to avoid this. I think it's important that white knows how to avoid this, and I think it's an important trap to know. So that's going to be all for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.